Alright, I want to have a discussion on the good, the bad, and the ugly of Black Clover Mobile. I think it's important to mention not only what they do bad, but also what they do good in a video together. I think it's better than separating it like I've done in the past before, why I made a video saying why you should play Black Clover and why you shouldn't. But now I think just mentioning everything that I think is good to mention in one video. It's been over a month, so I think now we have a good grasp on how they're going to go about things. And I think we do need a lot of things to change for me to be able to just happily make content in the future and for people to stop bitching. And I don't think that everyone's wrong with how much they're bitching. I think it's better this way. I honestly think that there's a lot that should be fixed, but I also think there's a lot that people are just wrongly over complaining about. I think that there's certain parts that are much worse than people are much better than people decide to give credit for. But let's just talk about it. There's going to be timestamps. Now, I categorize the bad as things that I think that people should be complaining about, but I think it's not the end of the world. And then the ugly is really things that are pretty important that they need to like kind of focus on fixing very soon. Okay, so I'd say that for the good, there's a lot of content, right? We look at the content we have right now. We got World Boss, Spire of Honor, right? And then we also have Guild Boss. And usually on JP, we would get like 1 out of 3 of these things all the time, but now we have it constantly. Guild Boss we got in what, season 5, now we're getting it in season 2, so the content is catching up much quicker, which is very exciting. And in terms of events, like there's a lot of stuff to do. We got the bingo event, right? So even for like a dead mid-season update, we've still got a bunch of stuff, and for the next 10 days I think it's going to be fine. Okay, even if characters are the main form of content, no matter what, it's a gacha game. It's a gacha game, right? Characters are the main form of content. And right now we got Kyoto Kohono. There's still a lot of stuff, a lot of exciting stuff to do. And I think that with how many updates there are, it's very good. And also you got to consider, we're not even done for the content that we're getting this season. We're getting another new version of Raid, whereas the Season 2 patch notes. New Raid boss January 2024, which is going to be very soon. I think in 3 days, considering that I'm going to guess it's going to last a week, which would be the last week of the season. So in 3 days, we're going to be getting the raids. So we're getting even more content. So I'd say for that, it is a good thing. To me, I do enjoy when there's at least stuff to do besides just summoning. And we're getting to that point. Now, next up for me, story. Story is a very fun factor in this game. And I think I've been enjoying it a lot more than usual. I've been very low on energy to do chapter 6. But overall, when I played 1 through 5, it's been fun. And then like on JP, 6 to 9 was incredible too. The animations are great. And it's just very nice. Now, Global especially feels a lot more complete than it did on JP because of how much more stuff we had, right? Before, we got World Boss exclusively in Season 2. Season 3, we got the Tropical Retreat. Season 4, we got Spire of Honor. Then Season 5, we got Guild Boss. So everything was in different seasons, right? But now we're getting all these different new content in one season, which I think is just incredible that they're able to do that. So content-wise for that too, I think it's just very, very good. And of course, it's Black Clover. The characters, the animation, all of that is truly beautiful. Like some of these intros, especially like Julius's, right? I really like Julius's. What else? I like Williams. I don't know what it is about Williams, but just like these intros, animations, everything, especially future ones, are gonna cook, right? Langris's is beautiful, right? So I'd say stuff like that is great. And then just the overall turn-based system that they managed to procure in this game, to me, especially more so on JP, I think the meta right now is pretty stale, but on JP, the meta is just very good. It's very diverse, and I think the next 20 characters we're going to be getting will definitely start to show that a lot more, and I think that it's going to be important for people to continue playing if they like just fun turn-based games. I think that it gets a lot better over time, but as of right now, the meta is not looking too crazy. And then last but not least, or actually we'll go over a few things that I personally like. Gateway, getting a free seasonal unit every season, which allows for basically, what's it called? For seasons like Season 4, where you just, or Season 4, the Season 3 season, where it's going to be Clover Charlotte, right? You're just going to you could just pick Charlotte, and that's it, right? So you don't need Fuego or Jack, and then you don't need to summon on that banner. So for stuff like that, it's great. And then also the rates and pity. I think 200 pity is great, but also the 1% rates, like 1% rates is insanely good rates. Okay, you can't say that 1% is not insane. Now, we'll talk. Actually, I'll talk about the bad later. We gotta split it up, right? But 1% rates with 200 pity is one of the best pities in the like in a lot of gacha games that I personally play, a lot of mainstream gachas, and it's very good. And obviously they could do this on on global because of the fact that they're releasing 3 banners, or they have 3 banner updates in a month. Now another thing is that all the pickups go to the unfeatured. So Kiara Kohono, you don't need to summon on them because guess what? They're going to be going to the unfeatured afterwards, like all the others have. And I think that's just a really good thing that they're doing. And another thing is that there's SSRs that we're getting for free in this. Asta was not worth it. I really don't think it's worth spending any stamina on this event. Unless you're an early player because you get LR gear from it. But for later players, I don't see it. Like, I'm going to get Asta from a banner someday, so I just don't. He's not really that crazy, so, you know, to me, not that needed. Okay, so that's for the good. I think there's a good amount of good stuff. The gacha system is not perfect, but I think especially later on, people will come to appreciate it. Now, for the bad. I despise the communication that the game is giving us. And overall, it's mainly just, we don't get that much of a heads up, right? 3-4 days is when we knew that Kiara Kohono were coming. Obviously, in the glossary, they show it, right? They do show what's coming, but a lot of people don't really look at the glossary, and people will not really spend according to what's in the glossary, because obviously Kiara Kohono, Gifso, Julius were all there when season 2 originally came out. So I'd say that stuff like that is pretty important, like giving us more than like 2 to 3 days heads up. Like, to me, a week or like 5, 6, 7 days, it seems pretty important. It's a pretty small thing, like just a couple days difference, but it is pretty important to just get people more excited, build up more hype, which I think they definitely fumbled a bit with Julius, but people were already like, people knew because of the leaks, which I never like that we have to rely on leaks, but if the leaks will bring more hype, I will talk about the leaks. If I didn't need to, then that would be great. But it's horrible, especially on JP where we don't even fight kit, we don't get the kit information until pretty much when they come out. Because obviously, mainly the stats, but I wish they would show stuff like that because Grand Cross does their streams pretty much the morning of, but at least they get the stats information, all the stats, all the kit info, which we don't get. It's only from the leaks, and I don't like that, right? Now, another thing is, okay, so I feel like the lack of currency is a bit bad, but to me, it's not the worst in the world as long as people spend diligently, but I feel like there should be a bit of leeway even for free-to-plays. I think, honestly, it's really not that bad because you should not have summoned on Midnight Sun. You shouldn't have summoned on Season 2. You shouldn't have summoned on Kiara Kohono. And you should not be summoning on Season 4. There's not many banners you should have summoned on, but people did summon on them. And I think that it should be fair to give people some leeway, but there's just no leeway to be given, okay? Which kind of sucks, and especially if you want Julius with his skill page and you got unlucky, well, GG's, right? Good luck. So that's like kind of my point on that. Now, they are starting to give more currency, right? Where is it? The bingo event is giving 35 pulls. Then we also had Hall of Illusions, that's Memory Hall. Hall of Illusions extension, which is giving another 30, right? We got 1200 from here, then 1200 from 90 and 1200 from 100. So that's 6 extra multis, but it's still not good enough to me, right? I think we're definitely missing a bit. So I think it's pretty important that if they're going to still keep up the 3-banner schedule, especially as we start getting to just more better units constantly, they need to do 2 things, right? Either reduce the banner amount or increase the amount of currency, right? I think that's like the 2 ways that I could see them going about it. Now, next up, I really want to talk about this. I think the rewards for this bingo event are great, but they could have repurposed it and made it much more enjoyable to get these 35 pulls. Instead of, oh, just clear the XP, use 20 assisting mages. Like, don't just make it for missions to get 35 pulls. I hate, like, Gingerbread. Like, I just don't like these type of events. Okay, I think that, I mean, the Dice event gives great rewards, amazing amount of stamina. But, like, come on. We need to be able to have, like, fun events that are also rewarding because this one just takes too much stamina. But I wish that they would have, like, maybe done it in more of a like original content type of way than just shitting out 35 tickets for doing all of these things. Okay, so I'd say it's pretty important that in the future, especially now that JP said that they're going to do a lot more original stories and original content, or like original events, that we need to start getting these for global as quick as JP gets it, because it's very important. Because like I would have much rather be given 35 pulls in a much more fun way. And I think to me that's pretty important, right? And also, events need to be giving out currency all the time. All the time. We look at it, right? This is giving tickets, right? What is it? Nothing else is, not one of these events have ever really given out pulls. And then every single one of these limited events don't give out any pulls, any currency. Like no raid gives it out. I know it's because every type of like content, every game mode gives different rewards for different things. But I just don't really get not giving out any pulls ever. Like even a couple would be nice, right? Even a couple. I don't care where you put them in, but like just a couple. The only thing from here that gives some is squad challenges. So I just really hope that they start giving, or like more things start giving pulls in more different types of content, because some people just don't really care for resources. But obviously in this game you kind of do. But I'd say that we need more crystals in different parts of the game, because right now you look at it, right? You've got Hall of Illusions that gives some. You've got first time clear on a lot of stuff. You got bond, okay. You got the clearing story, okay, pretty much doing story and bond, right? Like I said, patrol stages, and then arena. That's like the main ways. But I feel like they could give out more currency, even if it's little, in different ways. I feel like that's like my main point, giving out more currency in different ways and in events. Because like I don't know, I just feel it feels weird, feels yucky not getting like any like currency from events. Then next up, gear still feels kind of bad. We're lucky we got like as a whale, right? Not a, I don't know if I consider myself a whale, but I'm able to like use the gear food, and gear food gives a lot more, right? A lot more LR gear. But I don't get getting SSR gear in this. I don't. I feel like they should make, like Haku offered making harder stages that would only give us like UR and LR, or just LR, and I think I'm all for that. I think it's something that we do need, and it would be pretty important. It would be, because gear, I don't know, it's just substats. Everything is still too much. Like, there's so much stuff we still need to do that, I mean, on every unit, it's like talents, duping, gear, skills, right? Skills especially. Then on gear, you need to have the accessories, which they better bring that accessory synthesis that they've talked about on JP to global ASAP. ASAP, because I still feel accessories are one of the worst things in any gacha game, like any system in any gacha game that I've ever experienced. Now the ugly. Okay, the ugly is pretty important. So I feel like we need to be given a lot more stamina. The amount of stamina we're given just, to me, still isn't enough, right? There's just too much stuff we still need to do, and them releasing an event like this where they did end up buffing it, right? They did buff the amount of rewards we got. But the problem is, it still takes too much stamina for just not enough rewards for most players, right? I think that's the main thing. A lot of players just don't profit enough off of what we should, out of what they're asking us for. And I think it's a bit silly, right? Especially with all the stuff we still need to grind from here, right? The amount of currencies that there are in this game that require a lot of stamina is just horrible. And then, what's very funny is that the main part for Guild Boss, right, is that you're going to be getting the guild coins. And then guess what? You're able to get a lot of skill enhancement material. But to actually be able to get the skill enhancement material, you first of all have to do good and have the teams built. And to have the teams built, you have to have enough stamina to build those teams and have all these teams built. And it just takes too much stamina to have all the teams built, especially if your guild is high up and needs to target different ones. You might be forced to target a certain boss out of the 3, and you might not have all the units needed to target it on Nightmare, and then you might not get all the skill enhancement materials, but you should. I'm just saying, it's very stupid. I'm happy that they did bring Guild Boss early, because it means we get more skill enhancement material, but it's still not enough overall. We're still missing a lot of these materials, right? I'd say we're starting to get there. It's just stamina wise, like the amount of gear you need to farm, and if you get even a bit unlucky, and especially as a free to play, having no gear food a lot of the time just doesn't work out. And then you need to farm for bond. And one of my biggest things, I think, is that you won't be able to farm bond as well on global, because of the fact you need to be higher than dispatch CC, or higher than the required CC to dispatch, where on JP you don't need to be, which to me is just a little gripe that I have that's like still kind of annoying. Now next up, I mean the stamina thing, like it's huge, but we've talked about it so much, I just don't need to talk about it again. Now real-time PvP, to me, we need something to keep this game that's like reoccurring, that people enjoy a lot. Guild Boss is cool, but to me, after like 3-4 days, it kind of gets boring. You just auto it. It's pretty brain dead. But we need real time. We need arena here to have real time arena. Okay, we need it. Okay, and I think it's pretty important. You could tell I haven't touched it, but it's pretty important to. Why is there just no rank? Is it because I have 0 point? Okay. What? But season point. Oh, season points. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But rank 0. Damn, these people are crazy sweats. Jesus Christ. Um, bro. Oh my. I don't know. I'm seeing this and it's like Jesus. Okay. I thought I was tripping. Because on Canada, I never really play arena because I don't like this meta that we're in currently. And then also it's because, well, Canada I don't need to play usually, so I'll go back to that later, I guess. But real-time arena would do so much for this game, make arena so much more fun, allow for so many more teams to be switched up, and make it so that the meta teams are different. Because fighting bots is much different than fighting actual people, and I think that it's something they need to kind of do so people end up staying. Okay, I think it's definitely very important. Now next up, because of how many people are complaining about it and how many people I've seen quit, I think it has become much more of a big problem than it should be. Personally, I don't think it's that big of a problem, but the 3 banner a month schedule, some people just don't like it and people just think it's too much, and I can understand how it is too much. Personally, I think that I need to become my own free to play. I really do, because to me, to me, it's not really like that big of a deal, but maybe it is. Maybe it is as a free to play because I'm not free to play. But I think that I logically could see I don't need Kiaro, I don't need Kahono, I don't need Charmy or Ghosh, I don't need Licht, I don't need Fauna, I don't need Vettel, right? So to me, it's like these banners aren't that crazy and I don't need to summon on them. But there's still banners that are there, okay? So that's a point that I do understand, and I think that they need to change a couple things. Because to me, it's pretty bad. They don't give us the reason why they're doing this. I feel like communicating that, yeah, we want to catch you guys up in so and so time would be much more beneficial. But they haven't done that. So I'd say that obviously people are fair to assume the worst, and I understand why they are. And yeah, I think that it's very important that we either get, because what they did is that they increased the banner amount and then they also lowered the amount of currency we get. When what they should be doing is just enticing people to summon more and then releasing more content that people want to use the units in. Which is why real time should be released. It will end up making it so that people are more competitive than just fucking arena. So I think it's pretty important that arena, real-time arena comes out so that, you know, units are just better constantly, but less banners, more currency, people are all happy, right? So I don't know. I think it's a bit silly how they're doing it. There's a lot of stuff that, I mean, if it was me, I would change. And I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear what your opinions on this are. What you think the good of this game is, what the baddest of this game, and what the ugly of this game is, right? So you guys agree with me, disagree with me, I don't really care. I'm just giving you guys my opinion. And yeah, this is like a letter to Garena, I guess. I don't know. I'll see. I'll probably just talk to them, but yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.